This is part 2 of the ZX7R tank repaint. We're painting a tank for Luciano. We have to match a tank scheme that he's already had on the bike before on the other spare gas tank he has. He would like them both to match. He would like them to be as good a quality of paintwork as we can possibly do, which we always try to do. But I wanted to share on this video some information about laying out custom paintwork. Since it's raining today and we're not going to have any chance at all to get any paintwork done, I thought today would be a good day to share this information. And it's information you might not realize how important it is until you actually go and try to lay out a paint job. Today we're prisoners of the weather again. I wanted to work on the ZX7R tank, but it's pouring rain and it's going to be colder in the next couple of days, so I don't know where that's going. But I thought it was a good opportunity to share some information I haven't shared on video in many years of how to lay out and make it easy and make it as good as you possibly can. How to lay out a custom paint job. How a lot of people look at something that's already done, and or a model plane for that, or a custom car. They look at it and how did he do that? How did you, like yesterday I showed some of the old video of laying out the ladders on Luciano's R6. That's the kind of thing that a lot of people look at it, and even as I look at it, I think, well, what would you do first? What color would you put down first? How would you lay it out? Now it just happens, and this is why it's appropriate to do it today, because that's going to be the first step I have to do when we get a painting day, and it's obviously not going to be today. But this is a good day to share the information. Because the first thing on any paint job, you have to envision a paint job. What do I want it to look like? Am I copying something that somebody else already did? Or is this going to be one of a kind, brand new? Or some combination of make it your own kind of a thing, which I've done to every bike. I've taken the Kenny Roberts paint job and made it my own. And I think that's what most people want to do. They want to make something that's obviously something that you can recognize. Yamaha ladders, for instance, or in Luciano's case, having a green tank with the two big bars on the back, like the ZX series of bikes had. There's several, you want to make it look like that, but then you want it to be just a little custom. And we've done that on so many times that I think there's good information. And today I try to always use time efficiently. When I have a rainy day, I try to do something I can only do on a rainy day. When it's too cold to work in the garage, etc., etc. And I know this is information maybe you're not even interested in, but it's interesting to see how to do it, and I'm going to try to share some of that information today. Oh, this is one of the photos we're going to use to copy the paint job. We want to make a replication of it, but that stripe is done with black tape, and what we want to do is make it 100% paint. Now, as an example of something, if you were trying to replicate something similar to this or come up with something custom, you can make this so difficult on yourself, or you can make it easy. And let me explain what actually becomes the big problem when you're doing a complex job like this, is you spend an incredible amount of time backmasking. The idea is to make the backmasking as simple as possible. Now this is the FZR. You notice what I did. The first thing I did was paint everything white, because the outline of all the ladders is going to be multiple stripes of white. And this really minimized the amount of backmasking. So no matter what design or what shape or what color you want to have, just as an example, the idea is to minimize the backmasking, and number two, to get crisp paint edges. Now, one of the advantages you have with paint over stickers is you can wrap the striping right to the very edge and wrap it around like we have on the front of the fairing. It can go right underneath. With a sticker, that'd be kind of difficult because you're going around too many curves. Whenever you're going to do custom lettering like this, and just one example, there's rules of engagement that make it relatively easy. Doesn't make it super easy, just makes it as easy as it possibly can be. Designing something like this, there's always, you have to lay it out on a piece of paper, and I'm going to show that later in a video. Now you can see in this picture, I've got the double outline of the double stripe, and I had put this stripe on when it was I think it was in single digits in the garage. The days I did about 2 days of being out in the garage, and it's all on previous videos. And no matter what design you decide on and whatever you do, the color combinations, it's easy. If this bike, there's really only 2 colors, so this is relatively easy. You back mask once and you're done. But when you have multiple colors, and sometimes if you back mask it off incorrectly, an example on this would be if you painted the tank yellow and then try to paint that stripe, it's a lot more work than if you paint the bike white first. And I'm going to explain something that's like a basic 101 of doing custom paint work. No matter what you do, you look at a paint job, and of course you have this in your mind most of the time, and you always paint whatever the smallest amount is. Now in this case, let's just use this side piece. This side piece, the smallest amount of paint that's on there is the white. So the way you can make this easy on yourself is you paint the whole part white. And now you start with backmasking the white. And that makes it about half of the work, as if you do it the other way around and you want to paint that white stripe at the end. And anybody who's ever done this knows how quick that can turn into a nightmare. And this is all very similar to the paint jobs that I laid out for model airplanes for many, many years. Many of them went on to become award winners of sorts. And everybody, I think, that watched my model airplane videos knows I put most of that information out there, and it's still out on my airplane channel. Now on a part like this, it's just easy. If I paint the whole part white and I backmask the white, now here's the whole trick. This is it in a nutshell. I've got the white backmasked off. Now I can run the tape, the silver tape, the silver foil and tape up to there and paint the black stripe, paint the black stripe. And when I'm done, the white is already backmasked. I just need to backmask off the black and paint the yellow. So it narrows it down and it minimizes the amount of work. The golden rule is the color that you have the least amount of, in this case it's white, is always paint the whole part that color and then backmask that as your first choice. Now the other problem is on a bike, on a job like this can get to be a real problem. If I was to paint the whole bike yellow and then paint this white stripe, and then when I'm all done I want to paint the black stripe, I don't want any place where I have to peel off the tape and then put tape on this side, because where those 2 parts butt up on each other, the stripe is not going to be as crisp as this. And all of the striping and all the lettering, if I close my eyes, you cannot feel it. You bury it in clear. But when you have a big joint and the joint is not exactly the way you want it, you keep burying it and burying it, and it never really goes away the way you want it to. So it's always to your advantage. Again, it's a golden 101 rule. Whatever color is on a custom paint job, the smallest amount gets backmasked first, and never try to create it or lay it out in such a way you don't have a butt joint. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show how we're going to do the tank for Luciano, and it's really that's a relatively simple paint job, but even a simple paint job is a lot of work. And a lettering on these model airplanes, these are some of the model airplanes that I designed and painted over the years, and many of them went on to become multiple award winners. But the lettering, if you look at it close, it's what we're doing when we lay out a paint job, or the lettering is not a lot different whether you're doing a model airplane or a motorcycle. It's pretty much the same. And it's the same with the West Cooley paint job. If you run your hand over that, it'll just, you can't tell where the stripe is if you close your eyes. That's the test of a very, very high quality paint job. To me it is anyway. Now on some bikes there's no striping at all, and you could paint the whole bike a custom color. I did that with the Ferrari bikes. The red FZR became the yellow FZR, and all I had to worry about is one color of paint and making sure it all matched. Now with both of the bikes that I call the Ferrari bikes, the FZR and the R1 of course, the nice thing about doing a one-tone bike, again this is really easy, and I had at one time a red FZR and the blue R1 converted to be Ferrari bikes, and that was a lot of fun. I have to admit I enjoyed that a lot. But on the Kawasaki, there was multiple stripes. They all had to line up, and they don't line up the way you think they do. I covered that on yesterday's video, and we do try to post something up every day relative to motorcycling, or just something that might be fun to watch. I think this is good information, and I haven't seen it myself. I've probably watched every video that's on YouTube. I have not seen a lot of this kind of information out on YouTube yet. I hope we can add to that and people enjoy and use the information. Now this is just a personal thing because we're painting wheels at the same time we're doing Luciano's the Kawasaki tank. I wanted that stripe on the wheels, that's only an 1/8 inch stripe, but I wanted it to be an exact match to the orangey red that the Suzuki decal is, and that's an original decal. This is the original paint. That paint's never been done anything but just buffed out. And to me, now I know some people that would not care. They would just go buy red striping tape. Well, that's the difference between when you make the commitment to have something really special, something that really is a cut above, or you want to take the easy way. And there's nobody hates you if you take the easy way, but it doesn't work for me. I always want to have it that somebody looks at it. And I remember the late Bob Gordon told somebody while I was standing right there, he said, "Hey, Joe," or whatever, "that's not tape on the wheel, that's paint." And he was all excited about it. And then I thought, well, I haven't seen anybody else ever that painted that stripe except me. Maybe there is, but not where we hang out. Anyway, so we're waiting for the weather to clear up to go to the next step on our wheel project, MT-09 wheels. We're hoping that we can sandwich in some of this paint work on Luciano's tank. And again, by trying to post something every day, I try to do some work, and some days the weatherman just wins. But we're only a day or two away from having the wheel back on the MT-09, and then we'll continue with the back wheel. And it took us about a week working 4 to 6 hours a day. Well, I don't know. The back wheel may take a little longer. It's a little more involved. And I noticed something on the MT-09. This little thing that goes on the sprocket. I was looking at it, and I even looked at Partzilla to see what that was. I don't know if it's not doing anything with the traction control or anything. Well, I may just eliminate that, and I need that when I do this wheel. Of course, I want to clean that sprocket up. I want to paint the hub, among other things. But you can see this wheel, when I bring that other wheel out, and this one is still a casting, and the other one is like a mirror. The other one absolutely came out like a piece of jewelry. And that experimental paint that I made looks like it's working pretty well so far. So I better not say anything. Go downstairs later and the paint will be on the floor. And even on the MT-09, just painting selected parts changed the whole look of the bike, in my opinion. So as I always say, I try to say it on every video, the purpose of our channel is to share useful information, share it in a non-political, fun way that's fun to watch. And maybe, on a day like today, just sit by my television and watch some of the old videos the adventures that I've had over the years with motorcycles and model planes and paint. So it's a terrible day. It's above freezing, but it's supposed to rain all day and all night. So we are kind of prisoners of the weatherman. And even on a rainy day, those birds are so hungry. This time of year, they're so happy to be fed. Now, time for a cup of coffee and we get down to the shop. And that coffee does taste good on a day like today. So this is the ZX7R tank that we're going to be working on once the weather gets better. But laying out that paint job, laying out the paint job, such an important thing. And I want to show it on a piece of paper. It's a lot easier to show how I want this to be. I have pictures on my computer of what Luciano would like this to look like. And I want to show some of the pitfalls or some of the ways you can just make it easier when you lay it. Well, it would apply to any paint job. Always think of that thing of that where the smallest amount has to be back masked. That always works in your favor. Now this one is not exactly like that. And to be honest, I thought the first thing I asked Luciano at his house, do you have enough white to paint the whole tank? Because I was thinking, I'll paint the white first. But it turns out when I thought it through and I looked at all the pictures he sent, I really have to paint the black first if I want to get the crisp paint lines that I'm hoping I'm going to get. It's easier for me to show this on a piece of paper. I call it a storyboard. Let me just show this. I think you'll get I think it's good information for somebody that's a serious painter. Maybe it's something, and maybe there's even a better way to do it. If there is, share it on YouTube so I can see it. So this is one of the photos that I'm going to use to copy the paintwork. Now he's going to change that word Kawasaki to be Ninja, and we already have that sticker. But it's the black that's got to be painted first. And let me explain why. Again, a storyboard is always a good way to do this. I've done that a lot on the airplane videos. It worked well. I'm not sure this is exactly the best way to show this, but I just want to do this roughly, and I think you'll get the picture. And it's a very simple thing. Now, when I originally thought I'd paint the whole thing white, and then lay out there's a white stripe here, but then there's a black stripe that goes around it, and it goes down there. It's similar to what it is. So I originally thought, and I was wrong when I thought it through, and that's why it's good to plan this out, even drawing pictures like this, making concept sketches. Because what's going to happen when I go to do this, if I paint the white, I'm not going to get those nice tape lines. I'm going to get butt tape lines. So the way I'm going to do this is to paint the whole thing black, this whole area, even out to here, and I'll just make this, spray this all black, this whole thing. Then, and this is the key thing, I only have to backmask the black. And that stripe is what Luciano had a piece of tape on there, and it looked as ugly as can be. And then when I backmask, I only have to backmask. This really works out, I guess, pretty nice. Now I have to backmask and paint this white, and that's going to be a little bit extra paint coverage. But then now this is painted, and this is painted, and I don't have any butt joints yet. Now this is already painted, so I can just backmask this piece of tape. I can put the tape, backmask this now. I've never had to worry about this up here. This up here, if I get a little overspray up there, I can sand it off, or I can just backmask it. And then the last thing, and this is the key thing, we can use his very expensive, I think he paid a lot of money for that paint. He said he paid $125 for a pint. So this real Kawasaki match to the Chinese bodywork paint. So I hope that's information that's useful. I'm not sure it is, but I know when I was learning this stuff, and I learned it through the world of model planes, I would have loved for somebody to share that with me years ago. I did it the hard way for so many years, and I finally figured it out. But even a crude thing like this drawing, to always think in steps and always do a little concept sketch, always a good idea. So in this case, we're trying to replicate something that's already been designed. But if we were designing this, I would have changed it a little bit. But since we're trying to make a copy, again, there's different rules for copying things and different rules when you're a free bird. And one thing good, Luciano got a real nice match on the paint. I looked at the paint when I was up at his house against actually right on the bodywork parts of the bike. And that's a big thing, and it's a pricey thing now with paint, prices of paint going through the roof. And that wheel project is drying up by the heating vent. This is going to be the full second day. And I think tomorrow we'll be ready to mount the tire and get it back on the bike. But I did that, and that experimental silver paint, I did the test wheel with it. And I thought maybe that was overkill. Not really. Because I learned everything I needed to know, and this paint is the first time I've ever painted anything with a 4-to-1 mix with pigment in it. All that's covered on the previous videos. And I think, in my mind, I'm thinking, that really came out pretty nice. And number two, the 4-to-1 paint is much more durable. Well, the rain never stopped all day, and we were not able to paint anything today, but everything's waiting in the wings now for a painting day. And what we do at the end of every day, or sometimes in the middle of the day, we go over to the kids' construction site. They're having a new kitchen addition put on the house. And every day we see the progress, and I try to make a little video recording of what's going on over there. And they're working out there in the pouring rain. And the rain makes doing our errands just a little more of an annoying thing. I'm ready for summer. At least this rain is melting up some of the snow. Not all, though. So we always end the day over at the kids' house to see what's going on at the construction site. Oh, they got the Tyveks on. They're going to be dried in pretty soon. Whoo, I can't wait. It's still pouring rain, and we're in a mud hole here. Ugh. Oh my God. You're almost dried in, baby. Wow. Wow. Oh, my motorcycles are going to be happy down there. You got the ladders up.
Last night looking for what you said. I couldn't find anything on the job.
I'll show you. I'll show you. It's every day it gets posted. Every day. You guys are famous. It's funny, some people like to be on my channel and some people not that much. Hey, they're working away. Wow. Not long now, baby. Not long now. I wish it was a better day. So we do our building inspector thing every day here at the job site, but and there's piles of wood and there's just no end to it. Still some snow. It's pouring rain. What a day. I wish I was pulling into the driveway on a motorcycle now instead of on a rainy day in a car. And here's what I dream about on a rainy day. This is my dream right now. And dreams like that are what make me get through a long, long winter, and this has been a long one, and get all this restoration work done, and we'll get that ZX tank done. We'll get my wheels done. And as Michelle correctly said, summer is coming. And it's funny, as I pull into the driveway with that car on a rainy day, and in my mind it morphs into a ride on a motorcycle. Anyway, it's those memories on a day like today. I love looking back at the videos and looking at some of the rides and the friends and the, oh my God, the things, coming down to the computer and checking all that stuff out. It brightens up a really rainy day. Now, that ZX tank, I hope tomorrow's not going to rain and we can get started on mounting the wheel, doing the ZX tank. I want to get all these things done because even though it's premature, I know. And how correct Michelle is, summer is coming. Look at it positively, and we are ready. All of the bikes are ready. All of them are on charge. I love shooting the videos of our rides. I love shooting the video of these projects that we work on. They're all a lot of fun. We post video every day. Hope you enjoy the video, and it will see you tomorrow.